sure to project because this room is fairly large, and sound does carry, but not perfectly. So, Mr. Beck won't have a problem with that.
Hi, I'm Akshat Gokhale,
Hi, I'm Amal Molomerovich.
and we're both co-founders of Stride. Now, we live in a code-centric society. That's quite obvious. One in which our entire lives are run by little ones and zeros behind a computer screen. The question is, though, shouldn't our classes and classrooms reflect that? I mean, think about it. We have innovators across the world coming up with new solutions to the classroom experience. We have LaTeX for all those pesky little math equations. We have the Hemingway editor, so I can finish that English essay the night before it's due. We even have Live Mocha, so I can figure out the difference between hola and bonjour. But when we get to the computer science classroom, what do we find? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is the reality we live in. But with Stride, we can change that reality.
So, introducing Stride, the first ever interactive IDE for the classroom meant to bridge the gap between students and teachers. So, there's a huge problem facing computer science classrooms today. Most students, they feel isolated. They don't feel connected to the teachers. And when you first enter in a coding classroom with zero knowledge, it's really difficult. For many students, it's really difficult to start programming and to start learning. Many of them can't do it independently, and they really need that direct teacher assistance. However, the way the classroom model is set up, they don't usually get it. And many are turned off by computer science and end up dropping out. This is why we have created Stride as our solution. Stride is an interactive platform to connect students and teachers with direct feedback and advice. So essentially, teachers can view and edit students' code and work in real time. They can see what the students are working on, post assignments, post comments, post critiques, see which students need help, which students are on and off task, all in the classroom, all live. Oh, as well as being an interactive IDE for students and teachers to collaborate on coding, we're also establishing a platform, a networking platform for computer science teachers across the globe so that they can post materials, assignments, resources to compare with each other, and so that teachers can help and work with each other on lesson plans and other assignments. So now Akshat is going to be showing us the product demo.
Yeah. So this is Stride.
So here we're going to go through the whole process of how you start Stride. I'm going to go ahead and sign up as a teacher. My name's Bob Dillon over here. I'm just going to go, so this is going to run through everything that Stride works through, our sign up, our login, and then all the features that come with being a teacher and a student. So signed up, email, all of that. And go ahead and log back in as Bob Dillon. And here we see the teacher dashboard. Here we have a templating system where this really doesn't mean much, but this can be adapted to whatever you want. Here we're going to create a full class for other students to join. So we're just going to go ahead and call it Introduction to Python, and it's been created. So over here we see the class name has been created, and we can create an assignment with the plus sign over there. So now a common assignment for many enterprises and classrooms is called BizBuzz, where you just create a program that generates different words depending on numbers. So why do we create BizBuzz over here? So we're creating the assignment called BizBuzz for Python, and we're just going to say that it generates random numbers for a time sake. And here we see that BizBuzz has been created yesterday. This was recorded yesterday. So now let's move on to the student side. If we can, over here we can sign up as a student. And now I'm going to go through a story about one of my friends, Ali Muhammad. Ali Muhammad is a very close friend of mine, he's a classmate, but in class, when he took a CS class, he was turned off by it. It was too difficult, and the teacher wasn't able to help him very much. But with Stride, maybe that can change. So we're going to sign up as my friend Ali Muhammad over here and see what changes. So we signed up, logged back in, and then we see Ali Muhammad. So now, with Ali, I can go ahead and join the class that I've just been created. So over here we see the class code, 3465. We're just going to re-input that over here. And Introduction to Python with BizBuzz in the program. Now, apart from just adding assignments, we've also created our own IDE. So here we have a Python editor with syntactical highlighting that will allow for students to easily code and give them a non-downloadable version so that they don't have to go ahead and sift through several downloads and try to find the right IDE. So here we've created our own syntactical highlighting text editor, and now if we go in here, we can see that Ali Mohammed has been added to our class. Now, this is just one half of Stride. The other half is the teacher-to-teacher connection. We're creating basically a social media for computer science teachers to work together with one another and continue to collaborate even past the classroom. It seems that we had a problem with video, so I'm just going to go ahead and show on YouTube. And save. So here we see that there's a news feed for teachers. So we have a teacher, Mark Nelson. He commented something for other teachers to see that's provocative. Here we have connections for different teachers so that they can connect with one another depending on what language they teach in and talk to one another. And here we have the biggest part of Stride, the assignment database. Other teachers who have created assignments can add their assignments to this database, and then other teachers who want to look for the same assignment can come here and just see what's going on. So here we're just going to look at FizzBuzz that's been created for Java. We've created this demo assignment where some other teacher has created a FizzBuzz for Java. We've created the starter code, the sample code that you need to actually find a solution for FizzBuzz, and that's it. We've created not just an interaction for students and teachers, but a social media for teachers to connect and grow as a community.
Now, our basic revenue model is both simple and effective. We want to give teachers the ability to customize their classroom as they wish. And so that means that no matter if it's a marking period, a semester, a quarter, a year, they have the options necessary to customize. And so we've given a monthly or yearly subscription plan. That means per month, a teacher can pay $125, and they get the entire system of Stride, which means the database and the IDE. And they can support up to 35 students per class. However, if they want a year-round product as well, they can pay $1,000 per year. And so they have two options based on exactly what they need. Now, over the course of our growth and scalability, we have three major costs that we have to account for. First, developer services. Now, so far, our entire UI and backend functionality has been developed in-house by our own core group of developers. However, as we want to grow and scale our business, we need to ensure that we can update our product based on the needs of teachers and based on feedback. And that means ensuring that we have good developers who can adapt. In addition, server costs. Now, obviously, running a worldwide database that's pulling from all these computer science teachers across the globe is not going to happen over a local host. So server costs are going to be involved. We approximate about $120 per year. And finally, marketing materials. Now, marketing materials are going to be essential to make sure that we can get to the doorstep of every single teacher in the United States and hopefully the world. But how do we do that? Our market acquisition strategy is rather simple as well. It's composed of 4 components. First, teacher groups. Now, teacher groups such as the CSTA, Computer Science Teachers Association, have a broad network of teachers under them, which means that this is a direct access to all these teachers that have resources, materials, and are interested in our product and want to use it. In addition, a simple referral plan that would allow teachers to get a monthly discount based on how many teachers they show our product to. So that's incentivizing the entire evangelistic process and making sure that teachers are spreading word about Stride. Then, legislative representatives. Now, legislators have an immense amount of influence over schools and how they receive funding. And so, looking at local and state governments, we can ensure that Stride has the backing in the government that's necessary to make sure that we are a trusted brand. And finally, the general media, of course, to reach as many communities as possible.
Okay, so let's talk about our competition. When you think of similar programs, who do you think of? Code Academy, Code.org? Well, the difference between those platforms and our platforms is that they're trying to replace the classroom by teaching coding outside of schools. What we're doing is trying to enhance the classroom experience while still keeping teachers in control. If you look at this model over here, we show you that most of these other rival programs are focused on independent learning, whereas we're focused more on collaborative learning in the classroom. Stride is more collaborative and classroom friendly than any of the other programs here. So essentially what we're doing is we are targeting a market that hasn't really been tapped into yet by these other programs. Now let's go to our team. We have Akshat and Swapnil, who are our two main back-end developers. We have David Shu, who is our main front-end developer. We have Justin Fu, who is in charge of financial analytics for our team. We have Tia Ramsey, who is our main web developer. And then we have myself and Ariful, who are the head of our marketing team. So these are a few of the milestones in our future plans for our product. We plan to launch our product for beta testing in the next 4 months, and hopefully get at least 20 committed beta testers. We're looking for CSTA endorsement in the near future, and we're planning to launch our second version in January of 2017, as well as implementing our subscription model. And we're hoping in the future to get at least 5 legislative endorsements in September of 2017 to launch our product further.
So now we reach out to you. Join us, and we can bring Stride to the world.
I think it's pretty impressive. A couple of questions I have. Do you want to talk more about how we can work with school districts, having issues, any new technology being introduced or anything? How the teachers are going to pay for it themselves?
Right. So first of all, in terms of adoption, one key aspect of our program is that it's not actually changing the curriculum of the teacher. Instead, it's enhancing it and making it easier for them to connect with their students. So we're not actually touching their curriculum at all, which means that it's easier to get into these schools. Now, in terms of pricing options and seeing how teachers can pay for it, and ultimately the districts, we are planning to create more customizable features where teachers can select exactly the features that they need. Maybe they only need access to the database because they're starting off, or maybe they do need to connect with their students more effectively with our IDE. And so in this way, we can ensure that teachers can stay within their budget while still getting exactly what they need.
Have you talked to any teachers about this?
We actually have. First, we talked to Peter Brooks. He's from Stuyvesant High School in New York, and so he had extremely great feedback for our product, and Swap can talk a little more about that.
So Peter Brooks is the head of the computer science division in Stuyvesant High School. It's one of the best computer science programs in America. So we talked to him about what he would like to see from Stride and what problems he faces in the current classroom. And with his feedback, we realized that yes, there are several computer science teachers who aren't experienced enough in the computer science classroom. There might be a marketing major who's teaching computer science, and they don't know what they're doing, which is why we implemented the assignment database. So say a Java teacher in some other part of America has created these great assignments, these great lesson plans for their student. They can post this on a database, and another teacher who's not so sure of what they're doing, they can go on their assignment database, study the code, sample code, and give the same assignment to their students. So that now the students are getting good, well-versed assignments, as well as the teachers are learning in the same process. We've also talked to 2 other main people. First is the head of CSTA in all of America. And he gave us great feedback on how we can approach schools. He told us about how some school markets might be tough to introduce in, but that's where we realized that we're not trying to change curriculums like Code Academy is. We're not trying to introduce curriculum. No, we're trying to give teachers the chance to use their own curriculum. And finally, we've talked to Mark Nelson, who we showed as one of her feedback givers in Stride. Mark Nelson is also a computer science teacher, and he gave us great feedback on how we can implement adaptive learning. So that's where it comes in that if a student is having an error, we need to show it. If a student is having problems in saying hello world, we need to say that yes, the student can't print to the console. What should the teacher do about it? That's another thing that we need to implement in Stride, and that's the sort of feedback that we got and we're trying to implement now.
It seems that there's a considerable amount of breadth in terms of the amount of functionality that's included in the product. And then I wonder, for things like assignment management, for example, are there other products that are used in the educational sphere where this already takes place that you could potentially integrate with?
Right, Google Classroom is definitely an option where they combine, all these teachers and assignments and classrooms, and they kind of integrate them together. So definitely that would be an option. But I think before we go into that, there's also a lot that's unique about our database system in that we want to analyze what teachers are putting in. We want to give them the resources that they need, and then beyond that, we can then integrate with more partnerships.
I have a question. I get the teacher-to-teacher collaboration. What about the teacher-to-student or student to other student? Is there any of that in your idea?
Right. So the teacher-to-student collaboration is integrated into our IDE. And so that means that as a student is typing code and they're working on their project, a teacher can go into their code, write comments, can edit their code, all in real time. So that a student can see exactly what they're doing wrong. Let's say they're having an error and they just can't get past it. The teacher can immediately jump in, all on their own device, and then see what exactly is happening.
And from a behavioral point of view, do you think that something like this would be easily accepted? Like, of course, people go to school because they want to learn, but it's not that all the students are all the time spending 10 hours on an assignment and so on. Sometimes there is also some stigma. Sometimes you're doing something else, like knowing that your professor is there, like, looking what you're doing every second. I mean, there is also this, there are some kind of biases associated with that.
Yeah. So I think what we're trying to do is kind of focus just on the code itself. Beyond that, maybe if they're looking at something else, that could be added functionality. But yes, it is kind of pervasive. It's almost it might be going too far. And so we want to stick to the IDE where the teacher can see exactly what they're having issues with. And I don't think a student would have any problem if they're facing some kind of error and they just can't get past it. A teacher can immediately help them. And they have their own help button where if they're having an issue, they can immediately notify the teacher.
No, because I mean, like, I think that things like this, they talk to the market fit. It's like, would this be accepted or not? Because maybe the decision maker in buying it is a teacher, but then students have to get on board.
Right.
So, like, consideration like this, they should be part of the product design somehow.
So about that, I guess I can go with a personal anecdote. Akshat and I go to the same school, and we take the same computer science classes. And one of the biggest problems we found, one of the biggest hurdles we found, is that after creating our code, after creating projects, and after trying to show our teachers the problems that we've been having, the collaboration aspect of it was almost non-existent. Trying to email a huge C++ file was very hard. Trying to get him to come over, or even from home, trying to get him to see what we're having problems on or coding was a huge problem. And we know that our teacher cared about us, and he tried his best to see what we were doing and help us in any way, but it was just hard with the current technologies today. We want to show that because there are teachers who do care about their students, because there are teachers who want to help their students, we want to help them.